Welcome to the Messy Middle Season 2. I am your host, Jamila, and this season we are having real conversations from women standing in the middle of a turning point. So, short story. There was a season in my life when forgiveness felt more like a performance than a choice that I made. On the outside, I thought I was saying all the right things or all the things that people say when they think that they have forgiven someone. I'm good or I've moved on. It is what it is. But inside, I was still kind of replaying those conversations and carrying that anger in my chest. And I was trying to convince myself that if I spent time alone, that would count as healing. And one day I caught myself telling somebody, yeah, I forgave them. And the truth of the matter, it really kind of hit me in the gut. Like, no, you didn't forgive them. You just stopped talking about it. And that was the moment I realized that forgiveness isn't really a milestone. It's a process that you walk through, sometimes very slowly, while you are still hurting. So today I want to talk about forgiving without forgetting. Okay? Forgiveness gets talked about like a moral checkbox. Like you're either a good person who forgives, or you're bitter, stuck, or you're holding a grudge. And for a lot of Black women, that kind of pressure gets layered with expectation. We're supposed to be gracious, understanding, spiritually mature, and endlessly resilient, even when the people who hurt us never acknowledge the damage that they cause. But in the messy middle of forgiveness, things are not that clean. You can understand why something happened and still feel betrayed. You can have compassion and still feel angry. You can choose distance and still be grieving what you lost. Forgiveness in real life, it doesn't move in a straight line. It's not linear. It shows up in waves. It's like a roller coaster. Some days you feel steady. Some days, something really small can trigger you. And some days you might be able to say, I have released this. And other days you're right back in that same space, in that same memory, reminding yourself that choosing peace doesn't erase what happened. Um, and so there's a version of forgiveness that we're taught. And it's the one that says, move on, don't make a big deal out of it, let it go because holding it hurts you more than releasing it. But the truth of the matter is, sometimes holding it is part of understanding it. And sometimes naming the impact is a part of honoring yourself. Forgiveness is not pretending that you're unaffected. It's telling the truth about the harm without letting it define your future. And that's the tension of that messy middle. You may not be ready to reconcile. You may not want a relationship with that person again. You may never get the apology that you feel you deserve. And still, you're choosing not to let that wound become your identity. Forgiveness in this space becomes less about releasing the other person and more about releasing the version of yourself that kept bleeding silently. It sounds like, I don't excuse what happened, but I'm not going to carry it forever. It looks like setting boundaries, saying no to proximity, letting go of the fantasy that they will one day become who you needed them to be. And it feels like grief and relief sitting side by side. Right here in the in-between, you're not who you were when the hurt happened, but you're not quite fully on the other side yet. You're learning how to live with the truth without living inside of the pain. And that does count for something. It counts as progress. So if you're in that space right now, still sorting through anger, compassion, distance, sadness, and self-protection, nothing about that makes you weak. You're not falling behind. It means you're human. It means you're honest. It means you're doing the kind of emotional work that does not get applause, but changes you anyway. So I hope that that was helpful. If this episode resonated, take a breath and honor where you are in your own process. You don't have to rush your healing, and you don't owe anybody a polished version of your pain. Okay, so thank you all for listening. Thank you all for sitting with me in the messy middle. And I will talk to you all next week. Take care.